Hello, hello, hello. We are LIVE live. Accept. Edit stream info. Apologies, this is going to... Had everything else prepared except... best thing to do is just... Alright, just realised that we'd... Well, I say we. I had forgotten to done. Perfect. Forgotten to edit the title of the stream, but we're all back in. Let's make sure we are where we need to be. Okay, come. Excellent. So, as the title and description now will say, today we're doing our drawing of Charmeleon in the Draw the Deck series, which for those of you watching on YouTube catch up, hopefully we'll be able to just read the description and see the playlist. Anyone joining today that isn't here right now, so talking to me. But for me, in case I need to know, is me attempting to improve my drawing / illustration / art skills in general by drawing through the Pokedex, starting from number 1, Bulbasaur, and ending up wherever we end up, because I'm sure by the time we get through them we'll be a lot further than Gen 9. But we'll see how we go. Let's see how fast we can get through it. So today we're drawing Charmeleon, the evolution of Charmander. As you can see, you've got Charmander on the page. I do want to quickly apologise to anyone that is watching on YouTube for the previous video of Charmander, where we spent the whole video with Venusaur looking up at us. I don't even know why I didn't click until watching it back, but there we are. As pretty much every video so far, I'm going to use my Pokemon mechanical pencil that I got from the Pokemon Center in Japan. I like it, and to be fair, I am enjoying mechanical pencils. I understand why people are saying how good they are, but yeah. We will be using, as I mentioned in the last stream as well, we'll be using the other, I think what I said in the video was the other Ohuhu markers that I have. It wasn't the Honolulu range, it's the Oahu series. So there's, let's see how much we can see of that. That is the 40, and then I also have a 160. So 200 markers. I'm sure there's a heck of a lot of overlap. Now I don't really want to do this, but I will. Please do not judge me. This is the first time I've opened the 40 pack and the second time I've opened the 160 pack. So nothing is organised at all, but this is them. So we're going to be using those, and then I decided today we're going to use, just because we are going full Ohuhu, we're going to use the Ohuhu fine liner as well. If I can get this back to where it was, because now for some reason it's deciding it doesn't want to show all of Charmander. So let's just go up. How about that, stand and phone? Yeah, that works. So I've got the artwork up for Charmeleon, and we're gonna go now. Realistically, I wanted to utilize more of this kind of space today, but Charmeleon kind of, he's standing in a similar way to Charmander, and the only thing I can think of doing is potentially copying the image. In fact, copying the image and then flipping it, perhaps that would work. So let's just do that in downloads for a second. Open that up and see if I can just flip the view, because that'll make things much easier. Now, I've mentioned this a few times already. There's no way I'm anywhere near the point of being able to just sort of flip this by myself. Let's open in photos. I'm sure one day, I'm sure many people can just, I wouldn't need the picture to work off from anywhere. I'd be drawing this from memory, but I'm hoping that this way, if it's flipped, I can just use it as is and be able to fit it in perfectly here, so the file would be on this side rather than why is that not opening up? Let's copy it, try that way. Oh, I know what I can do. Yeah, I think that might be easier. Oh, then now it opens, of course. Because at least then I can fit it in sort of the way I'd like to. So let's move that there. Because I do like to be able to see what's going on the stream. Right, I can rotate it. Let's go edit. Get off. I did come prep today. I had everything out ready, but yeah, didn't think about the actual picture. What's that? I don't want that now. While that's loading up, we will just wait and love each other and talk. There we go. Right, so I wanna flip it that way, don't I? There we go. Now this is going to be potentially a little odd, really, I suppose, but it just means that we can fit him in, because Charmeleon's flame comes up to like his jaw, and I do want to be able to start Charmeleon about sort of, you know, here or so. Just to, again, we've said before that we're going to come back at some point potentially and draw things that are, you know, say smaller, and therefore have a bit more ability to moving around. This is not necessarily going to be a Pokédex book. This is going to be a drawing of Pokemon images, so, you know, potentially I could draw Voltorb there, be a bit smaller than I'd like, but there are Pokemon that are small enough to do it. I could draw anything there, really. I could come in later and do the badges or the different Pokeballs and fit those in. So I don't really mind if I'm going to be doing that, because what I don't want to do is draw Charmeleon small here, then have all this space blank. What I do want to do is get Charmeleon down on paper with Charmander, so we can sort of move on from there, and get him to sort of fit in properly. So I'm going to sort of zoom. No, I don't want that. You save. Just save. Right. So as I said, so his claw's going to come to about here. So realistically, belly's going to be about here, which means head is going to be about here or so. So I think we'll start with the part that I can do right now, which is sort of let's start on that and move from there, because until we put anything down, we're not going to get anywhere. So Charmeleon is going to look a little smaller next to Charmander. Obviously, these aren't, again, they aren't to scale. They aren't necessarily, I'm not the best with proportions anyway, but they're not going to be proportionalised with each other. There's an eye there. So I do want to get to the point as well one day where I can just kind of, oh, that's a bit, cutting it a bit tight, but you can have a slightly smaller horn. I do want to get to a point where I can just, you know, quickly sketch these things down, and then from there, no, I should go more. From there, I can then get in and you know, do it a bit more freely, but let's go in there. with a little bit there. So we'll do the part of the neck there. And I might start to run out of space here, which I'm already worried about. I'd have to then draw them a bit smaller, so let's see what we can do. Let's see what we can do. If I have to rub them out, we can rub them out and start again. That's... There we go. That. Yeah, I'm already not impressed, but let's go with what we've got. So Charmeleon is a bit more I suppose gangly. Gangly is a good word for it. In comparison to Charmander. His body's a bit more... Let's get... Okay, no, I'm alright with that actually, because then this leg's going to go sort of here, which means then I can bring that around here and into there. Cool. Yeah, it's not as bad as I thought it would be. Yeah, he's, you know, you can see the sort of the growing parts of him aren't necessarily in a great proportion to him, but you can sort of see the transition to Charizard, and it works well. I do like Charmeleon. I think he was, even as a child, you know, not a favourite one, but one that I really liked, and one that I was a bit upset we didn't get to see much of in the anime. But hey, those are the breaks, aren't they, suppose, sometimes. Let's get this leg in here. A bit flat-footed, or a bit more flat-footed than... that's not as... yeah, that's alright. Then we've got some little dimples for the knee here. Right, I need to do the arm next because it does come on to this leg part here, or at least the part where it attaches to the back. So we're going to go like that, and then yeah, so this is what I mean, like more of the sort of, not necessarily bony, but more angled parts of him. That's not great. Okay. So yeah, that should kind of lead us into his back, but again, that's not necessary for my drawing, but it looks like we're just gonna miss it, which is fine. I think we've gone a bit too overzealous on this area here. This should be more sort of here. in some ways when drawing this, I do feel a bit like a little kid still doodling their favourite cartoon. But then that's how I'm gonna get better, so I don't really mind that. I'm gonna just move this to here to give it a bit more space there. And then see the flame it looks really kind of bad here because that should be more yeah, Charmeleon is not part of me really wants to start this over. And part of me wants to just sort of stick with it and see where we get, but the body's not too bad. I think I just want to do the head again. Like I said, the body I don't mind so much, but the head I'm not a fan of. So now we've got the body in position. Let's go ahead and try and make that a bit better, shall we? So if we go like that. And that's going to come up into I feel like I'm doing that too sort of puny. Like this part's absolutely fine. It's where we get into this horn that I seem to be struggling. About there, we're gonna go down. That's a bit better. That's a bit better. That's better. That's better. Happy with that. Okay, let's start with this tail. So the tail's gonna go up here. Into there. And then that part's gonna come out. Into there, and then we've got some fire. And Charmeleon's fire is a bit more, what's the word? Ferocious, I suppose, is a good word, than Charmander's. Clearly, it looks like he's swiping his tail around. But I will edit it a tiny bit just so that it's there in the right part for Charmander. But I think actually, apart from missing just a couple of details here for the knee, I'm happy with that than we were before. Yeah, happy with that. So we're going to get into the lining. Same as last time. I'm not going to line the fire, obviously, with this Ohuhu pen. I have my mangaka ones with the dark brown. That kind of works best for the outline of the fire. Yeah, I'm going to see if we can do a bit better to down the eyes as well with the shine, but our focus is going to be getting this line today decent. So I'm going to start from here. We are going to have to sort of line that part of the eye. Pokemon does seem to do this thing, and I'm sure it's not just Pokemon, but it does seem to do this thing where not everything's lined, like the eyes aren't necessarily lined around. Which is fine, it's just something I need to get used to a bit. Or at least, not used to, but need to remember sometimes. Because I do tend to just want to fully line the whole thing. If I'm not paying attention, which happens a lot, then I do still feel to an extent comfortable being able to kind of not change but alter things as I line, like this foot that I know is definitely or in the sketch at least wasn't as wide as it needed to be. Again, if you hear me blowing, it's just me being paranoid with the lining pens, just making sure that they are dry and can't smudge as I move my hand over them, because again, that's a problem I generally have with sort of writing anyway with my hands. Yeah, as I said, I always kind of liked Charmeleon. I feel like he didn't get enough time to really do much in the anime. which is a shame because Charizard then got so much time for a while, not being able to really do much anyway. It kind of seemed like, well, what was the point of having them there? But that doesn't change, I suppose, the nostalgia for most people of Ash's Charmander, Ash's Charmeleon, Ash's Charizard, which is good. Good in its own way. There's a lot of weird nostalgia. Moaning Dan time to come out again now. There's a lot of strange nostalgia. Let me just wet my whistle 1 second because I'll need this. A lot of people talking about how, you know, oh, Ash wasn't actually as bad as we all made him out to be. Of course he wasn't. Ash was just kind of a product of an anime that didn't necessarily know how to properly utilise him because he had been part of the anime for so long. How do you do that with absolutely no change? But actually, other shows have. Not to the extent of that length, but they've proven it can work. And if they didn't want to prove that it can work with Ash, that's fine. I've watched maybe about like, I don't know, 15, 20 episodes of Horizons, and I like it. I do quite like it. It's new, it's something, you know, a bit different than what we're used to, and I enjoy it. But I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I didn't enjoy watching Ash for the last 20 odd years. You know, I don't agree with, I suppose erasure's a good phrase or a good way of putting it. You know, it's silly to pretend, and some people are telling the, you know, some people are telling the truth, some people are just part of the hype train. That's what annoys me. This weird era of you know, internet trendiness that we're part of at the moment, where in my mind, for every 2 opinions that are actually somebody's opinions, there's another 6 that are just people literally jumping on the bandwagon and trying to carry on whatever this is because they want to be part of it as well. They want to do the latest silly dance and whatnot, and that's just the grumpy old man in me coming out, really, I suppose. Because let's be fair, when I was young, we didn't copy people's dances, but we all did do the exact same pose in photos, so who am I to judge? I'll tell you who I am to judge. I'm Dan.W, and that's who I am to judge. Me. Right, so, as I mentioned kind of briefly already, this is second time opening the big box, or bag. First time opening the little one, so I've not really used these as much as the Carla range. So just make sure I actually got everything. Yeah. So I can move it that way now. But yeah, it's just again because, you know, what I'm doing isn't necessarily original either. I don't have a leg to stand on, but it's, to me, if someone's made a funny video, I want to laugh at it, and then I want to move on to the next funny video and watch that. But, you know, we're in a generation now where for some reason what we do instead is we see a funny video, we want to make sure that we can do that funny video as well to get just the same amount of likes as somebody else. And it's kind of, not baffling, but just kind of odd to me. But speaking of copying, let's try and copy Charmeleon's colours today. Let's see, I suppose. I'll do the same as Charmander yesterday. I'm trying to start with the belly. And a lot of these colours are going to be the same. Because obviously it's the same brand, it's just different pen styles. These are broad and fine, so are the other ones, but those are the new sort of chisel broad. These are, where are we? Let's see how much we've actually got this in focus. But these are cream colour and barely beige. I'm going to try, because I could just copy the ones we did last time on Charmander, but as we remember, they weren't right. and I can't fully remember. Well, that one is a very good one. I can't fully remember which ones we stuck with actually. Is that darker or is that the same kind of colour? Which one do I like more? That one feels more right. That is a good colour though, Bailey Beige. Let's try then, what's this? Let's try salmon pink as it kind of works, but the colour on Charmeleon is a little more grey than that. So I'm gonna try, what's this? Pastel peach, let's try that. That looks really good for me actually. So we're going to go in and do Charmeleon, what I keep saying, Charmander. We're going to go in and do Charmeleon's stomach and the base of his tail now, his underbody, in cream colour for, is that drying? Hang on, I'm just going to test it out because it looks like it's drying, and then once it's dry they're the same kind of colour. So let's just get down that. And then we're going to get down that for a shade. You know what? I'm definitely using that one. I'm going to leave that one there for the time being while I look and let that dry, because to be fair, once they're dried, it's almost not a difference at all, which isn't really good. That's a bit too brown. Oh, that's a lovely colour though. What's this? Thin persimmon. Again, that's a bit brown. Not that really, you know, I'm laughing really because these colours aren't, does that work? I think if that dries more like that, let me just let this one dry a little bit, because if it does, I think it will, you know. Come on. I'll tell you what, I'll leave it there for the time being, because realistically, yeah, again, it's once it's dry, it's not as either way. Let's get in with cream colour for the base colour, and then we can start moaning later. I wonder if I'll just put you to I'll have to look. As a reminder, I do always have the provided silicone sheet from Ohuhu underneath this, just so, yeah, it does go through to the next page, as in the back of the next page, which I do really want to invest in the double-sided Ohuhu sketchbooks, because that would probably make my life a lot easier on this, to be able to use both sides of the paper, but at the very least it doesn't come through to the next sheet and I'm, you know, down another sheet of paper. Okay, so that hasn't, do you know what I might do? I might just go over it. If it doesn't end up dark enough, I'll go over it in another colour, because this isn't the right colour anyway, really. There's not a colour that I can see. It's brown grey actually, let's try brown grey. It just seems too dark for me. Again. So I was thinking either cream colour or pastel peach. But both of these, to be fair, once they're dried, they're not that easy to differentiate from the base colour, which actually gives me an idea. What I want to do then is let's use this as a good opportunity to trial using. See, you can't see anything at all on this already, so it's not making a difference. I was gonna try. You can kind of notice some. Trying the three tones, so you've got your sort of highlight here and that kind of works for the moment, but I don't know if that's because this part's wet, not because it's actually working. But I keep thinking, do I actually just go over in like a warm grey or something? So I've got warm grey 140 there, because brown grey is just not going to work. That's, what's this for? Pastel peach. Yeah, same one. I've got cool grey's not gonna work. I do want like a warm grey, I suppose, don't I really? Red grey, no. Red grey could work actually. Let's have a look at red grey. This one's probably a bit too dark, but oh. Yeah, it's way too dark. It's a really nice grey though. That could work with a lighter shade. Red grey 040. And again, you know, ideally I'd have the greys all together, because I do think warm grey is the way to go. And I've got warm grey 140 here. So let's just get that's warm grey 180. That's clearly more grey. Yeah, way too dark. I'm thinking, do I just suck it up and use warm grey 140? There's warm grey 160, warm grey 170, warm grey 150. Ideally, but it's like a warm grey 130 maybe. Is there? Warm grey 190. Yeah, I do need to organise these. Red grey. Cool grey 170, 150. Yeah. Warm grey 140 is the lightest I think I've got in the warm greys on this. And there's natural greys, but they don't really, I don't think they work. Red grey probably would work, but I think I've only got one I can see, which is too dark. Yeah, I think, let me have a quick look at mushroom white and see how that comes up, because something's calling me from that. Let me see how that dries, because if that dries better than this, that could work. But actually, it's going a bit too orange, so no, I'm going to stick with warm grey 140 and just kind of enjoy the. What? Oh, have I messed up? Oh no. Oh no. Was it brown grey? Yeah. Ignore me. Looking all this time for a lighter warm grey, and brown grey was the right one. Unless you work. Not grey enough yet, it does need to be a grey. But yellow grey, this is a really dark yellow grey, but yeah, way too dark. Yellow grey could work. What's this brown grey? Brown grey. Oh, it's the same one. Yeah, I think I'm going to stick with brown grey. I don't know how I managed to get switched up with warm grey, but I think that's because I left warm grey there once I finished with it. So let's go. It is going to be darker than necessary, but not by too much, thankfully. And it kind of fits in with the colour differences for Charmander. Move. There we go. If it kind of dapples like the Charmander one did, then I'm happy, because that actually turned out by accident quite nice. I enjoyed it a bit. Cool. Yeah, that's not too bad. I like that a bit. So, I mean, it is quite dark, but I don't mind it too much. I don't dislike it. Right, so let's get right into eye colour and get that out of the way. I'm thinking this might work. What's that? 170. Blue grey 109, blue grey 170. So surely that's darker. Yeah, it is. But I could use that for blue grey 69. That's more like it. So I'm gonna leave that there and hope for the best that it doesn't spread too much, because clearly my experience with alcohol markers is not allowing for that to stay. If not, I can use the chalkboard pen like I did last time to kind of fix it. And then if we do blue grey 170 for the dark part there and the dark part there, and then I'll draw in the pupil with black. Oh, right there. Cool. That's them out of the way, so then we need to get into the body. I'm thinking, at least from looking, coral red is good. It's just quite red. And again, I don't think the colours over here are really sort of muted enough to copy colour for colour. That's a bit dark for shade. What about vermilion? Again, very red. Very, very, very red, but I'll keep it there for now. What's this? Coral haze. That's going to be too pink. Yeah, it's very ready pink. French vermilion. Is that actually orange? Yes, it is. I'm keeping that for the fire though. What's this? Oh no, what's that? What's this? Vivid red. Okay, that's going to be perfect for shadows. In fact, what was that one? What was that? Coral. Yeah. How do these look? Yeah, I think they work. I think they work. So we're gonna go coral red for the base colour. I'm not going to attempt sort of 3 colours this time. I do need to get the nub done soon as well though. Because I don't actually know if these colours should have an in-between colour. Or could have an in-between colour that properly works, because they are quite different colours. do have a question actually for anyone that is cheap viewers on Stream Booth. Thank you, Aesthetic Hubble. Definitely not a robot. You're definitely a really important person. Yeah, for anyone that is sort of catching up on this on YouTube, or even sort of catching up on Twitch itself, I do have a question. I know I've mentioned in the last stream and obviously possibly a couple of other videos on other channels that, you know, I want to be a writer, and the sort of backbone of writing is keep writing. Writing will make you better at writing, and reading will make you better at writing. Is that something that holds true for art as well? You know, is this something that's going to work? Is me, you know, consistently drawing, and even if I'm drawing sort of from reference, is me drawing and colouring and lining and whatnot, is it actually going to improve skills, or is it just something you have not necessarily an innate talent with, but just the talent is there or not? Do you know what I mean? Am I wasting my time? Is this something that I can actually just teach myself by practice? Does practice really make perfect? Because that's the real kicker here, is that while I'm enjoying doing this, and, you know, even if I don't get better, I think I'll carry on for a while, is the main point of this actually something that's realistic? Can talent be taught, I suppose? I suppose that is the same for sort of anything creative, is, you know, people always say you should work at your craft. Okay, does working at your craft improve your craft, or are you just keeping your talent pool, or the, you know, your set of skills not sort of rusty, just keeping them there and usable, but always at the same level? Or is it dependent on will, I suppose, as well? I don't know. Feel free to comment, or perhaps even feel free in, you know, 5 years' time to come back on this video and say, Dan, look at all your videos, look at the difference, look at where you were 3 years ago and look at now. And then maybe I can be like, okay, you know what, you got a point. Okay, so I'm going to go with Vivid Red for the shadows. I didn't know if they'd work well, but I've just put it over the top on my test paper, and actually it doesn't look too bad, so I'm quite happy with how that will turn out on it. I thought it was going to be a bit too kind of purpley, but actually I think that lends to itself to be a bit, it's kind of like a greyish tone once they're mixed together, if that makes sense. Like it looks like a shadow rather than just purple, which is good. Oh, silly me. This is 3, yeah. Just realised what we missed. There we go. That's better. Let's just do my usual. that needs to dry before I touch it again. That's gonna. So I do want the shadow to kind of come all over here. And to be fair, I do think, as someone who, you know, never naturally started doing sort of shading, not even really when I did art in college. I don't know if that's an embarrassing thing to say considering the way my my artwork looks, but yeah, I did art in college in GCSE, obviously. I say obviously, I chose art in GCSE and then continued it in college. that was always a different thing for me. It was such a strange situation because I felt like choosing to continue on and doing, art in college would be a bit more free, and that was kind of how it was sold a bit as well. But it felt very restrictive in the end, and I ended up stopping that course before the end of the year. But I did do art, and even during that, I don't think I ever really used sort of shades or shadows, or if I did, it wouldn't have been sort of properly. But the pictures do look better with some shade, and I'm sure once I start doing some highlights as well, they'll look even better. But I don't want to start on that yet, although if I do, I'd probably end up doing, I know some people do highlights in like pencil, and that could be something that I'd happily give a go. Right, so we're going to do that. That's going to go around to there, and some there. I think I just like the flexibility that aqua markers give. If you don't like it, you can always go over it with another colour, and there you go, it's another colour now. Obviously, the more passes, the smoother. It's just a nice medium to work with, I suppose. For me at least, having not worked with a lot, I don't love paints. I see so many videos of sort of, even now it's the hype around them has kind of settled. The people with the jelly gouache paints, I'm not someone that thinks they have any kind of skill with paint, so I don't think I'm going to try. Which probably sounds really sad. I'm just not going to try. But also, I don't think that's something that I can do. What I'm going to do, I just need to get like that little nubbin done. So look, I did say yellow grey, didn't I? There's warm grey. It's like a yellow grey, I'm sure. No, but I found red grey that actually works for the little end of the tail that's actually on fire. Then we can work from there. So I've got the sort of base yellow that I want, and I'll do the whole flame in that yellow to start off with. And to be fair, there's a bit of a different part here where it does seem like there's another shade of yellow, only like slightly dark, because this should be the sort of the light part, although theirs is even lighter, I think. So that's that. Let's stick that in. And if I was to go over in like primrose maybe, can I go over? Will it really do much? Nothing at all. So we'll stick with that for now, and I'll go in with our French vermilion that I really like the look of for the orange burst on this flame. That's really Do I like that? Kind of, yes. I would like... I wonder if actually doing something like we tried on Venusaur with a little bit of colourless blender would brighten some of that up at all. Not really. Very, it's very slight. But that kind of works actually. Oh, I like that. Yeah, I like that. That looks really cool actually. I wonder, we tried this last time, but I wonder if I can just get some highlights with that. Yeah, that actually does work. I kind of just bleached it a little bit. Yeah, it's not really working on the red as much. It more so seems to just kind of bleach the colour a little bit and becomes less highlight. Oh, actually, it looks alright on camera. I say alright, it looks okay on camera. To me in person, it looks like just looks like bleach. But it does kind of work on some colours and lighten them up, so I quite like that. Right, the last thing we need to do then is to find a decent blue-grey, like a really light blue-grey. Or a cool grey. Actually, let's see how cool this cool grey is. No, it actually works really well. So then we're gonna, in fact, no, I don't want the, I want the bullet. Just get some dimensions into these claws. And then I think we're done. Yeah. Brilliant. I think I'll put one too many in there and one not enough in there. That, I think, we'll do that then. I'm actually quite happy with how it turned out then, considering I still don't really love the shape of his head, but he's got kind of an awkward head shape anyway, so that kind of is the purpose. And I really do like how that colourless blender turned out on the fire. I don't know if you can really see it in the camera in the video, but yeah, no, I like that. So for anyone that did tune in, thank you for watching. For anyone that's following me back on Twitch at Dan.W, or anyone that's following me on The Cetacean, which is the YouTube channel that I post these videos to afterwards, thank you so much for watching, coming back, and hopefully enjoying the video. If you did enjoy the video on Twitch, don't forget to follow me. I stream on Sundays and occasionally other days in the week. That may be changing soon to start streaming the PM, sort of the evening time in the UK, maybe sort of 8 PM, 9 PM or so. But also potentially in the afternoon and potentially on a Saturday afternoon if I'm not doing anything. YouTube, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe on The Cetacean. As soon as I finish the Twitch channel stream, I do then at some point during that afternoon then pop the video over to the channel so you can rewatch that there. Yeah, Thanks so much for watching, and I will hopefully see you all soon. Bye.